This video is sponsored by Supply Handlers. Re-elected Pérez has already claimed Konaté and Dumfries are part of the plan and promised more arrivals. So who is this player that Jose Mourinho keeps pestering him about? 21 years old, Portuguese. And according to reports, he is the only player Mourinho wants to have as the spine of his team. His name is Mateus Fernandes. Born in Olhão in southern Portugal on July 10, 2004, he started at Olhanense when he was just 6 years old. By 13, he had moved into Sporting's academy, one of the best talent factories in Europe. Sporting academy players are not taught to look pretty on the ball. They teach them to think fast, play under pressure, and grow up around expectation. At 16, Fernandes was already playing for Sporting's B team. In October 2022, at just 18 years old, he made his senior debut for Sporting in a Primeira Liga win over Casapia. He even appeared in a Champions League group stage match against Tottenham, but the coaches felt that he needed more games than they could give him. He went on loan to Estoril for the 2023-24 season, played 35 times, helped them reach the Allianz Cup final, and showed he could survive outside the protected walls of Sporting. Then Southampton came calling in 2024. He moved to England, played 36 matches in a Premier League relegation season, scored twice, assisted 4, and still came out of it with his reputation enhanced. That is important, because Fernandes has played in a relegated Southampton side. He has played in this West Ham side. He has learned what football looks like when the team is under stress and when midfielders have to fight for every yard. That is not a problem for Mourinho. That is part of the appeal. Now, what actually makes Mateus Fernandes so special as a player? He is a connector, the kind of midfielder who is not a pure sitter, not a pure creator, and not just a destroyer. He can play as an 8, where he joins attacks and presses higher. He can play in the double pivot, where he helps protect the back line. And if the game becomes stretched, he has the legs to keep covering ground. Mourinho's best midfields have always needed players who can do 2 jobs at once, and Fernandes fits that profile. He is right-footed, around just 5'10", and not physically huge, but he plays with real bite. He does not look like a luxury midfielder. He wants the ball in crowded areas and is confident enough to receive it under pressure. That is why the Real Madrid link makes sense. He is not the next Toni Kroos. Fernandes is more direct, more restless, more physical, and more vertical. He plays like someone who wants to turn pressure into movement. Across the 2025-26 Premier League season, Fernandes played 3,024 minutes for West Ham. He scored 3 goals and provided 4 assists, which is solid enough for a young midfielder in a struggling side. But the real story is in the work rate: 103 tackles, 35 interceptions, 182 recoveries, 368 defensive contributions. Those are the kind of numbers Mourinho notices. And it goes deeper. He completed just over 40 accurate passes per 90 at 88% and added more than 3 accurate long balls per match. Fernandes sits comfortably in the middle. He can fight, but he can also play. He can cover ground, but he can also pick a pass. He can defend deep, but he can also carry through midfield. And remember, he is still only 21. This is not a player at the end of his development. This is a player who has already been tested by English football, already survived 2 difficult Premier League environments, and still has years to grow into a more complete midfielder. Now, what are concerns with this signing? Playing midfield for West Ham under pressure is one test. Playing midfield for Real Madrid, where every pass is judged by the Bernabeu, is another. 88% was okay, but Kroos and Modric were always hoovering around 93%. There is also the discipline issue. 7 yellow cards in the league is not a disaster, but it does show you the edge in his game. He likes contact, he likes duels, he commits fouls. And at Real Madrid, under Mourinho, that aggression can either become a weapon or a problem.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. The deal runs only until the end of May. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.
For Mourinho though, it's not a gamble. He is not buying Fernandes to turn him into a soft possession midfielder. He would be buying him to harden the middle of the pitch, to give Madrid more legs, more bite, more recovery power, more control after losing the ball. And that brings us to the biggest question. Why Madrid specifically? The answer is the role. But Madrid would still need one more profile. Someone who can fight, connect, protect, and let the stars shine. That is where Fernandes fits. Madrid have also been linked with Vitinha and João Neves, and both make sense on paper, but deals like that are brutally difficult. PSG would be hard to negotiate with, and they are chasing a Champions League three-peat. Madrid cannot build their midfield plan around transfers that may never open. Fernandes is not the dream version of the midfield, he is the functional version Mourinho could actually use immediately. The financial element is fascinating as well. West Ham reportedly value Fernandes at around £80 million. That sounds high, especially for a player from a relegated side. But this is modern football. You are paying for age, Premier League experience, tactical flexibility, contract length, resale value, and the fact that half of Europe also wants him. West Ham paid more than £40 million to sign him from Southampton, so they are not going to let him leave for cheap. For Madrid, that means this is a serious investment. But compared to the kind of money being discussed for Vitinha or Neves, Fernandes is more reasonable. Pérez has already moved for Konaté and Dumfries, and he has promised a massive Galactico signing too. But if Madrid only chase superstars, the team becomes top-heavy. That is the danger. Mourinho knows this better than anyone. He has built great teams before, and the pattern is always the same. The players who win second balls, protect transitions, and make ugly games manageable are just as important as the ones who end up on posters. Fernandes would be that kind of signing. Not the loudest name, not the biggest shirt seller, but maybe the player who tells you what Mourinho's Madrid is actually going to look like. Because here's the bottom line. Real Madrid would not be signing Mateus Fernandes just to add another young midfielder. They would be signing him because he fits the Mourinho blueprint. Tough enough for Mourinho's football, technical enough for the Bernabeu, young enough to grow. That is why Fernandes makes sense. What do you think of the deal? Let us know in the comments. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. Also be sure to turn on post notifications so that you never miss out on any new videos. Catch you in the next one. Bye.